see it is.
To be honest, I don't know where it's coming from. I think we're a new generation. We have technology, we have just everything is just different now. So I just think people's state of mind is turning different as well. He wanted freedom, he wanted equality, which we have in many aspects, but these black on black crimes, these wars in the streets, I don't think that's what he asked for or wanted for.
Okay, cool. We have somebody here for you now. All right, check it in.
I think that you can't ignore the fact that municipalities have cut back on law enforcement a great deal, in San Jose in particular. And I think that violence is touches people more, and for a lot of people it's a solution that otherwise they wouldn't have been aware of. But you know, you go on YouTube and people put videos up that celebrate violence, and you know, and sometimes violence is a political act. Sometimes violence is a stupid criminal act. It's again shades of gray. So I think it's a complex picture and a complex tapestry that we live in. But I also am hopeful that with the improving economy, with some of the changes that are being made socially, that you know, we'll have a better world here in San Jose in 10 years, I hope. Procter & Gamble posts a Cheerios commercial online of an interracial family, and they had to turn off comments because the offensive, vile, racist comments that were filling up the YouTube channel. Racism is pervasive, prevalent, and a lot of people would like to think that you know, everything's rosy. But you know, Dr. King, I remember, you know, I'm 60 years old, and I have very strong memories of, you know, Dr. King. But I'm very mindful of the fact that the March on Washington, you know, didn't solve a lot of things, because there's a lot of people with a complete antipathy towards living together and living in harmony. And so I think the best thing that we can do is try to hope that social media and the ability to communicate will let some of the more calmer and rational voices speak louder. We need to see more community interaction as a whole, as opposed to being divisive and split among factions. There's going to be people that we don't appreciate, we don't like, and we don't agree with, but we have to live with them. So, you know, Dr. King made that message very eloquently, that, you know, and he had a dream, and that dream is only weakly fulfilled, but that's not due from one of desire or passion or commitment of people. It's due to the fact that we are blessed with a lot of riches and a lot of freedoms, and that allows a lot of people to still have views that are antithetical to, you know, human social interaction. And so I think, you know, when I was studying political science, I remember vividly a book called The Irony of Democracy. And one of the things they found was that if you actually let everybody in the country vote, a majority of them would overturn the Bill of Rights. And that's because we have a large number of people that are, ignorant, if I can be so bold as to say, and we have a lot of people who, because this country allows you to have so many freedoms, you can be free to hold a lot of antisocial views. And so it's a complex thing. And I think Dr. King said, the way we overcome that is that we educate, we communicate, and we hopefully change the hearts and minds. And that has to be done through the youngsters to the children. And so we can't leave our children with a legacy of violence. We can't let social media teach them that extreme views are acceptable. We have to start figuring ways that we can communicate. The world doesn't have to be this way. And the world isn't all good. It isn't all bad. There's a lot to be thankful for. There's a lot to be afraid of, and we have to keep working.
I baptized his daughter. He's like a brother to me. In Spanish, they call it compas. His uncle just passed away this past weekend on Saturday. 3 guys were chasing a disabled kid, and he chose to help out. And somebody hit him with a tire iron or something in the back of the head. And they drug him inside the house, and they were actually watching TV, going about their day, eating and drinking while he was dead on the couch. So, last night they just had a candlelight visual for him. I've known him ever since I was a kid. And the gentleman, he always looked out for his children. He may have his ups and downs, but one thing he did do was take care of his kids and stood up for what he believes in. And, he will be missed.
I think today a lot of people are out of touch with the civil rights movement, and the struggle that our grandparents had to go through. So I think now there's still the battle, but I think a lot of stuff is more subtle. A lot of stuff is done more covertly with the different laws, and I think it's just going under a lot of people's noses. On the surface, a lot of stuff looks better, but like I say, I think there's different ways to control or to keep a group down through laws, like the Rockefeller crack laws that were in New York that got reversed. There's new voting laws right now, a lot of areas. They're realigning districts, keeping the poor districts vote less important. So I think that a lot of the problems are still there. They're just done a lot more covertly. Yeah, I think social media is an avenue that people can express themselves more freely because they feel like maybe they're hiding behind a cloak. So I believe that can definitely get a true sentiment through that, through somebody's unfiltered feeling. And I think a lot of stuff in social media will come unfiltered because somebody's not going to shy away from saying something. Like, hey, that guy can't see me, he doesn't know who I am. I'm just going to say what I feel. So I believe that social media can give you a sentiment, but I think it's a lot bigger than that level as far as the racism that I'm talking about. Well, we're downtown, so downtown has a nice mix of people and classes, There are a lot of homeless downtown, but at the same time, City Hall and San Jose State's downtown. Then there are nice neighborhoods that are right outside of downtown, and skyscraper condos that are in downtown that are pretty expensive. So downtown gets a good mix of everything San Jose has to offer, from the poorest of the poor to the richest of the rich. So I might see more police, but at the same time I see more cars, I might see more fire trucks, but at the same time I see more people. So it's just a densely populated area. Well, honestly, I think a lot of the problems that our grandparents went through, we can't relate to because we don't have to go through those same problems. Nobody's told you can't drink at a certain water faucet because of your color, or you can't get on this bus, or you can't come in this restaurant because of your color. So I think that the problem is different. I think the problem is deeper, and any type of movement needs to be fought on a much higher level. But I don't think that, I think his goal has been accomplished, Dr. King's goal. But I think somebody needs to pick up where he left off now and fight the new form of racism. I think a lot of violence is, a lot of time is an act of desperation. You know, I think stuff is either heat of the moment or somebody just feeling really desperate. And when the economy, you know, is on the downside, when people aren't able to find jobs, when people aren't able to make money, or when people that were getting, you know, mental or maybe addiction help, when those resources are no longer there to help those people, they're left in a state of, you know, desperation. And I think that that's when people might act out more.